Hello and welcome to the Sunday Times Culture Show. I'm Makita Oliver.
And I'm Grant Tucker. On this week's show, Rhys, Ifans and Tom Hollander on their action-packed new film, The King's Man.
And if you're in the mood for a show but can't handle too much of that, he's behind you.
Oh, yes, he is!
That stuff, hate that stuff. If you feel the same, you can't handle it. Then Matt Hemley, news editor of The Stage, will talk us through the most entertaining shows the country has to offer, from winter circuses to drag nights in our alternatives to the traditional Christmas pantomime.
And Camilla Long will be here to tell us what to watch and what to swerve on TV and in the cinema this week. But first, The King's Man, Matthew Vaughan's wildly entertaining sequel to the Kingsman series. It is a historical romp through the early 20th century.
You're going to need a suit. Come on. We are the first independent intelligence agency.
Preserving peace and protecting life.
Welcome to the club.
They're just Kingsman characters jemmied into real historical events. Yeah, history just a little bit. Rhys plays Rasputin, the Mad Monk, and I play the German Emperor, the Russian Emperor, and the British Emperor, who were all related to Queen Victoria, and their falling out sort of creates the First World War.
And what was it like to play Rasputin?
There's so much kind of mystery and myth and legend and hearsay around him. He generated a lot of gossip and crazy anecdotal stuff around him. So he's kind of a gift for an actor. The photographic evidence there is of Rasputin, he seems to be aware of the camera. So he had a sense of the power of the image. It was like a Rasputin that went through a Matthew Vaughan, Rhys Ifans mixing desk and came out the other side. That took some doing, floating in on a funny little one of those things that break parents' legs.
Yeah, I know the ones.
Yeah. There were times where I cleared crowds. There was literally like a rogue Rasputin, like hurtling through a Turinian palace at 30 miles an hour. But the main thing for me was the physical end of things. I'd never really done a full-on action kind of sequence.
That fight scene is quite something.
We trained for 2 or 3 months prior to shooting. I mean, a sequence like that is so complicated.
Are you jealous you didn't get a fight scene, Tom?
I do long to show everyone how useful I am at fighting. No one ever asked me.
And those three characters that you played, how did you get into the role, the mindset? Was it very method? Did you have people waiting on you at home to get into it?
Yes, actually. I rented some palaces. No, I didn't. I'd read a little bit and looked at a lot of pictures. Obviously, it was one person playing all three of them, which was funny because they're genetically connected. So, the joke is sort of the same person messing up the world. Did you manage to keep any of those costumes from the production? Because the tailoring is very good, and certainly in your characters. I can't. There's no call for wearing all those epaulets and regal jackbooty things. So no, in my case.
Yeah.
But you definitely would have kept
No, I wouldn't.
happy.
I mean, it looked great. But really, if you took the beard and the wig away, I look like my Auntie Dillis. It's basically just a big dress,
Character is what you are.
What I love about the film is that when you think it is a certain kind of experience, it very quickly becomes something else. Very early on in the film, I found myself welling up and being surprised at that. I think audiences will be taken by surprise as to sometimes how they're left feeling in this, possibly.
And what was it like working with Matthew Vaughan?
Fascinating.
Thrill.
He's an entertainer.
Yeah.
And also, it's such a huge canvas, this massive, great tapestry of stuff. So to hold all that in your head and sort of wrangle it and turn it into an entertainment narrative and mould real historical events to suit it, it was an awful lot going on in his head, which is amazing achievement.
This film is an homage to those great cinematic epics of the past, that canon of movies. You can feel their influence in this.
Interesting energy when you three men are put in a room together.
That's it. It's the Welsh vibes.
It was a Welsh thing.
Welsh vibes.
Okay.
Well, The King's Man is out in cinemas on the 22nd of December. It's one not to miss, but Camilla's here to tell us what we should be watching this week. Hello, Camilla.
Hello, hi.
Camilla, hi.
I was sort of hoping you might
burst into Welsh with Rhys there.
I know, I think we all wanted that.
Yes,
I'll do that next
exactly.
time.
Do it, yeah, the whole thing.
We've got Michael Sheen next week.
Oh, well, go for
Save it for Michael.
Yes.
So first we're going to talk about Landscapers on Sky Atlantic. Olivia Colman and David Thewlis play a real-life married couple, Susan and Chris Edwards, who covered up a truly disturbing double murder that had been committed 15 years earlier.
The Friday right after I finished work.
And she still hasn't told you?
I'm getting to that. It wasn't until we arrived at the house. First, we picked up fish and chips. We always have fish and chips on Fridays. It's just when I'm tucking in that Susan starts to act a bit different. And suddenly she says something like,
I can't stand it anymore. They haven't gone away, they're upstairs.
oh, of course, you know, what are they doing upstairs? Why don't they come down and say, hello, something like that. And then, I don't remember the exact words, but then she says something like,
Because they're dead.
Super creepy, weird, strange crime. I'm quite surprised they managed to unearth it. But, hey!
Thanks, Camilla. Thanks for being here.
But what a fantastic show. The dark story is that these two people that we've just seen were accused of murdering her parents back in Mansfield in 1998. Not only murdering them, but then pretending that they were still alive.
Yeah, that's
For 15 years, sending Christmas cards to relatives, signing off sort of DSSS payments and things like that. It's incredibly inventive. You know, you see lots of different ways of filming it, lots of different filters, black and white. It flips in between, you know, colour.
Quite a new director as well.
It's a young director called Will Sharp, who was, if you watch Giri Haji, he played the rent boy in Giri Haji. So
yeah, also,
you know,
didn't he write Flowers?
Yes.
Oh, he's
That's him,
genius,
yes.
that guy.
So,
oh, wow.
So I feel this project, and it's written by Olivia Colman's husband. So
How'd you get that gig?
Well, quite, exactly. That's what I thought. Oh, a bit of nepotism. This will be rubbish. The script was amazing. His script is really funny. Not only do you have brilliant performances from David Thewlis and Olivia Colman, but the police detectives are sort of like a kind of slapstick line of duty. And frankly, I needed that. And I loved it. And you're brilliant actors, and he's bothered to like develop the characters, which you don't normally get in four-parters. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a complete like festive treat.
Well, next, yet another end-of-the-world film.
Great.
Why are we so obsessed? Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence play astronomers desperately trying to alert the world to its impending doom. In comedy, Don't Look Up.
It's somewhere between 6 and 9 kilometers across, so
It's big.
it would damage the entire planet, not just a house, you know.
The entire planet. Okay, well, as it's damaging, will it hit this one house in particular that's right on the coast of New Jersey? It's my ex-wife's house. I need it to be hit. Can we make that happen?
You and Shelley have a great relationship. No, you stop.
Listen, in all
You
fair-
need to stop.
I will, but in all fairness, I actually
Hope you
paid
got with
for
this
the
cat.
house.
I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry, are we not being clear? We're trying to tell you that the entire planet is about to be destroyed.
Okay.
Okay. Well, it's you know, just something we do around here. You know, we just keep the bad news light.
I think we can tell where this is all going. What I want to know is, why doesn't it work? I mean, it's a very funny story. So you've got Leonardo DiCaprio playing an astronomer who discovers a comet. And of course, the joke is that nobody believes him, which is a great premise.
Reminds you of anything else? Yeah.
Exactly. They get into the politics of it. You've got Meryl Streep playing a kind of Trump figure. You've got Leo, you've got Jennifer Lawrence in this role. You just think, why doesn't this work?
This should be great.
This should be great. Great actors. It's a funny idea, and it is just awful. Awful. I can't put it any other way. It's really terrible. I was so disappointed.
I'll play devil's advocate.
Go on
Kate
then.
Blanchett as that newsreader, like the perennially cheery host.
Yes.
I think she does a very good job.
Yeah, and they've got the teeth, and you've got Mark Rylance with matching teeth. There's
Yes.
Mark Rylance again playing a role which could be
Jobsy.
brilliant. This sort of Steve Jobsy kind of creepy billionaire who wants to kind of blow up this comet. But again, it doesn't really work.
It
And
just
I think
doesn't come together.
It doesn't come together. And I think, as with many of Adam McKay's films, he likes to really preach to the audience from a position of greater knowledge. And I think that kind of has come through a bit too much for this.
And finally, Steven Spielberg has remade the iconic musical West Side Story, 60 years since the original, and everyone is still dancing. Grant loved this.
You did. My film of the year.
Properly. Film of the year. Do you agree?
Well, you did say in the green room that that West Side Story is your favourite film ever, ever, ever.
Bias, okay, I'm biased.
Yeah, but if they'd done a bad job, you would have known.
Yes.
Does Spielberg fluff it up in any way?
I thought for the first hour, I was like, where is this going? What is it doing? But I think as soon as that America scene happened, the whole musical came alive. And what I think they did particularly well, Rita Moreno, who plays Anita in the original, plays a 90-year-old shopkeeper in this one, and she's just as good in this one.
Such a touch. But it looks fantastic, doesn't it? It just looks so sort of beautiful, and it does make you want to dance.
Spielberg is extremely good at is these like big legacy cinema pieces and tries to rework it for kind of the modern audience and bring it to a modern audience. Yeah. And I think he is excellent at that, and he has such a luscious quality of the way he makes his films. He's a perfect director for something like this.
Yeah, and he did a good job.
He nailed it.
He nailed it. Thank you so much, Camilla. Coming up, we speak to Matt Hemley about all the exciting alternatives to the traditional Christmas pantomime this December. But now a first look at Sunday's Culture magazine. It includes Jonathan Dean's interview with Claire Foy, who's starring in upcoming BBC drama A Very British Scandal. I cannot wait. She tells Jonathan how the British are good at shame because we're a nation of repressed curtain twitchers. So true, Claire.
And the Culture team have compiled the best sounds of 2021. A chart of the top 25 albums, including Getz, Dave, Little Sims, and Wolf Alice.
What a year, 2021. It's like wonderful to see artists like that celebrated and at the forefront of British music at the moment. Makes me very proud. Now we're joined by Matt Hemley, news editor of The Stage magazine. Hi, Matt.
Hello.
Merry Christmas.
Oh, thank you so much.
We saved that one for you.
Oh, thank you.
We haven't said it yet. Today you're going to give us alternatives to the traditional festive shows, and we're mostly avoiding pantomimes, aren't we?
Boo, yes.
Please, he likes them. I'm not into them. What have we got first?
First up, The Snowman, everyone's favourite. And I know you watch this every Christmas Eve on Channel 4, but now you can go and see it on stage. And it's been around for about 23 years. You get all the magic from the animation, the flying, the motorbike scene, everything you expect from The Snowman, but right in front of you.
And
it's
you
glorious.
get walking.
You do, and it sounds just like that. Yeah.
We're walking in the air. We're floating in the moonlit sky.
Well, next, it's a love letter to frontline workers. Adam Kay's "'Twas the Night Shift Before Christmas." One to watch?
Yeah, I mean, it's based on his book. He wrote a book about his experiences as a doctor, and obviously now he's a stand-up and a musician, so you get a little bit of his stories from his time and stories from his book, and some songs thrown in too. So I think a perfect alternative treat.
No more singing this time.
Okay. Yeah. Next one is a pantomime, but it's Dick Whittington, which I think, it's such a timeless, beautiful tale, and it's being redone by Tuck Shop. What will they do with this production?
So you know how every pantomime has a dame? This one is all dames. This one is completely drag.
Completely drag, Dick Whittington.
Completely drag production starring Cheryl Hole as Dick as she goes through Soho, or he goes through Soho, trying to find fame and fortune. So if you're looking for something a bit different from your panto, but lots of innuendo, this is the one for
I'll
you.
be going to that one. It's a Christmas classic, but the Nutcracker at Sadler Wells is a bit different. Now, what can audiences expect?
It's Matthew Vaughan's
Yeah.
production.
Love Matthew Vaughan.
I know, so good. It's 30 years old, and he is the master of accessible dance. So if you think ballet's not for you, go and check out his Nutcracker. And he's also reworked some of the choreography this year for its 30th year or so. So a bit different.
Is that the first time it's been reworked in a really long time?
I think so, yeah, because he just felt he needed to revisit it a bit.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Finally, Matt, if you're looking for fun, excitement, possibly some yodeling, boy, did we find the Winter Circus for you. There are two in London, the South Bank Centre's Circus 1903, which features puppets from the makers of War Horse, and the more intimate La Clique in Leicester Square. Thank you for letting us come today. Tell us about the universe of La Clique.
La Clique is a marriage between cabaret, circus, a bit edgy, a bit sexy. It speaks to a big variety of people. And you get to see these worlds all mesh together here on this centre stage.
How scared do the audience get? Because you're literally inches away from their face.
I don't know if they're amazed or scared, a little bit of both.
So it takes lots of training, I guess.
Yeah. You know, of course, in the beginning, you're not as tight, but your partnership grows stronger.
Yeah.
And so here we are today.
You've got to kind of love each other, know each other, hate each other sometimes. All of those emotions come into it, right?
Gives you adrenaline and makes it go
Yeah,
faster.
makes it funkier.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And how dangerous can it get?
We've been doing this for quite a while now, so we're very confident that we're not going to come off this platform.
I guess the main thing is we learn how to fall, so if,
Yeah.
if it does go wrong, which it can, we'll go in the center.
Yeah, we can practice.
Learn how to fall.
Learn how to fall.
I got a nice message saying, do you want to come into the show for one night and try it out? I packed my bag and I went to the tent. I've been a part of the family ever since.
And who else is in this sort of universe of the clique? What else is going on?
We have an incredible performer, Heather Holliday, and she does fire breathing and she does sword swallowing.
Who's your favourite actor? I'll put you on the spot.
Well, Mirko Kockerberger, the hand balancer. He stands on his hands on suitcases, but he strips at the same time. He's got like a six-pack. I mean,
Can we have him on next?
Yeah, that's true. We'll get him into the interview next. Yeah. Where the hell's he? And then cabaret also, on top of everything else, is a major part of it. You have a live band.
Yeah, and I think cabaret just means things are a lot more intimate, and I love that. It's very authentic and real, and yeah, it's why I'm here.
Where was that fire breather? I didn't see her.
We do have fun, don't we?
The clique is so special because you're sitting in the Spielberg tent in Leicester Square, which in itself is an experience, but the acts are pretty amazing. I'd say that one, the clique, is probably more for your adult fun, whereas Circus 1903, a bit more of your family friendly with the puppets that you mentioned, Queenie and Peanut. You know, everyone loves a puppet. I think we talked about puppets before, so they are so special, and that takes you kind of back to the turn of the century circus, the more traditional
I like
experience.
that. That's what I like.
I've got something to confess, and Makisha, really. We were both asked to get up there with the roller skaters, and we wimped out.
Yeah, okay. We're a bunch of skelly cats, Matt. We are.
So disappointing.
I know. We're disappointing ourselves. But luckily, our producer was a little bit less scared than us.
Super light. Well, thank you so much, Matt, and hopefully we'll see you in the new year.
Thank you, Matt.
That's all we've got time for this week. We'll be here same time next week for our final show of the year.
And it's Christmas.
What have you got me?
I've got so much stuff for you, and I'll bring it all in next week.
Jonathan Dean will run down everything to keep you on your sofa over the festive break.
And we'll speak to Michael Sheen about his fantastically fun time-travelling film for Christmas. We'll see you next week for even more of the Sunday Times Culture Show.
Till then, goodbye.
Goodbye.